Did you know that as of 2019, there are 5,755 homeless people in the Denver metro area? Living in Denver, I've seen a lot of homeless people on the street and how they have to live if they don't have the opportunity to go to shelter. And with such huge numbers, I'm not surprised. So today, I'll talk about the issue of homelessness in the Denver metro area and what can be done about it. First, I will discuss a little bit of the background of homelessness in recent years and the current issues that are being faced. Then, I will present solutions that are taking place as well as future solutions. And finally, I'll talk about the future of homelessness with and without action. But first, let's give a little background to homelessness in the metro area and the current issues that are being faced. Homelessness is not a brand new idea. And past figures of homelessness in the metro area show that it's been going on for some time, and it is increasing. According to Connor Dawson, in a 2018 Denver Voice article, he states, unsheltered homelessness has increased from 827 persons in 2015 to 1,308 in 2018, an increase of 58.2%. Now, yes, this is number data, and yes, it is specific to homelessness, to unsheltered homelessness, but that's still a really big figure. Another one of the problems with homelessness is the fact that the city does not have a full count of how many people are homeless, and people are being pushed into homelessness. In a 2019 CPR News article by Claire Cleveland, Diane Howell, community coordinator at the Metro Denver Homeless Initiative, said there were 5,755 people that were surveyed and interviewed on a single night. And that is not everybody experiencing homeless in our community. Now, the fact that the state and the city do not know how many people are homeless, that is an issue. That is a big issue, because then when solutions are presented, nobody knows what to really project for. Now, for people being pushed into homelessness. Excuse me if I say this incorrectly. Nantia Ruan, a professor at the University of Denver, stated, the high cost of housing and the lack of affordable housing options puts strain on Colorado families and contributes to the problem of homelessness in a 2018 homeless advocacy policy project. Now, although these two major problems are in place, there are solutions that can be taken to be able to fix them. Now that we know the conditions of homelessness in the metro area, let's talk about some things that have been done to assist with fixing it and solutions that can be put in place. One solution to help this would be to invest more money into housing from both the government and organizations. Now, this is something that has been done very recently, though. According to the State News Service, in a 2020 report, it says, U.S. Senator Cory Gardner announced today Colorado is receiving $31.8 million in grant funding from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Now, something like this would be able to give more money to different organizations, or just being able to put more money into building more housing, or, redoing some things, even putting money into revamping the buildings that they already have. Another solution, though, is to restore abandoned buildings and use them for homeless housing, shelter, etc. In the 2018 Homeless Advocacy Policy Project done by the University of Denver, Professor Nantia Ruan states, shelters in the Denver region can only house about 10% of the area's homeless population. Now, because there aren't enough shelters to be able to house all of the homeless people, that's why we have the solution of taking the abandoned buildings, either renovating them or demolishing them and building up brand new things. From the city and county of Denver neglected and derelict building list, a quarterly distribution, there are 84 listed neglected and derelict buildings that, if taken care of and money put into them, they could become housing and food banks and shelters and shelters, and everything like that. Now that we've talked about the solutions that have been put in place and things that can be put in place in the future, let's talk about the future of homelessness with and without action. With action, individuals and families can get proper care, the streets can be cleaned up, and people can have more of a chance to get a job because they now have an address to their name. With people being able to have a job, that brings in income. And with bringing in income, then people can start to go to transitional housing. And then after that, they can get up on their feet and start living on their own. And then that will most definitely decrease the amount of homelessness. But without any action taken, homelessness is going to continue to rise. And not just because people can't afford to live, but because wages simply don't match. In the 2018 Homeless Advocacy Policy Project done by University of Denver, Professor Nantia Ruwan states, wages, meanwhile, are not keeping pace with the rising cost of housing. In order to afford a median priced rental in Colorado, a resident needs to make $35 an hour. $35 an hour is more than 4 times Colorado's minimum wage. If nothing is done and no action is taken into putting more housing and more shelters and more food banks and everything like that, homelessness is going to continue to rise unless wages are changed. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. In conclusion, homelessness in the Denver metro area is a large issue and it needs attention. With homelessness continuously increasing over the last few years and multiple solutions being presented, the future of reducing homelessness will be promising if action is taken. Some ways of helping homelessness reduce would be assisting nonprofit organizations to help bring in staff to shelters. Another way would be to donate money towards creating more, shelters for the homeless, or just creating more homes in general for the homeless. Mahatma Gandhi once said, "The future depends on what you do today." So, let's make a change. Thank you.